Auricle is the culmination of a project to write a piece for Berimbau and electronics. Simone Mancuso originally asked me to write a piece for him using the Berimbau as a microtonal instrument with electronics. I had previously written for this instrument as a sextet in my piece Quociente, and this is for Greg Byers' group at Northern Illinois. I also made a solo version of this ensemble piece by using electronics to more or less play the other parts. So for this new piece, Auricle, I wanted to use live processing so that it will always interact with what the soloist is playing. The Berimbau is a single-stringed Afro-Brazilian instrument that uses a gourd for amplification and resonance. It's often used to play only 3 pitches, with an open string as the fundamental and a half or whole step above that fundamental pitch. For this piece, I wanted microtonal pitches, so I also used the quarter steps between the 3 conventional pitches. Auricle is based on the concept of a maze, and the goal is to get to the center. But this is no ordinary maze. Each step along the way presents the player with unexpected challenges. Each turn will be a hallway that interacts with the player, strangely altering their sound the closer they get to the center. Sometimes the player will make a wrong turn and you will hear the difference. Fortunately, when you hit a dead end, time will rewind itself and let the player correct their mistake. The piece is over when the player finally reaches the center. This piece is a maze that is sonified for the audience. In other words, they don't see the maze but only hear it. Musical material is being chosen by the computer and displayed through the screen, so there is no predetermined structure to the score. It only happens in real time. And there is really no way to find out ahead of time what that structure may be. So I'm able to use this to capture the true essence of a maze with the fact that it's unpredictable going into it. I wanted the score to have room for interpretation rather than the player having to do precise sight reading. I decided to use shapes depicted on a timeline to make certain things like dynamics and rhythm proportional to how they appear on the screen. Therefore, it gives a little bit more freedom to the performance and allows for some breathing room, especially since the player doesn't know what excerpt is coming next. I initially created 6 groups of excerpts with 4 excerpts in each group, so a total of 24 excerpts. I grouped them with some musical similarities so the player may notice certain ideas that tend to happen more than others. And I used these as images at first, but you'll see in the later part of this video when I made some updates and changed the score to be drawn dynamically. In order to display these images, I decided to use processing to handle the graphics while pure data handled the audio. This was the most challenging part of the project since there was very little documentation on how to get these 2 applications to communicate. Fortunately, there's been development with what's known as libpd, which allows you to embed pure data into a separate application as an audio engine. The tricky part is trying to understand how to communicate with libpd. But this extremely powerful tool allows you to combine procedural audio into an application that is more suitable for handling graphics. One of the issues I had by using both of these applications together was that it wasn't very portable. For someone else to play this piece with their own computer, I would have to explain how to install all the appropriate files and make sure that certain libraries were in the correct system folders. It was really a huge obstacle. Another issue was that Auricle was loading static images which sometimes wouldn't draw correctly in processing, and that would leave the player helpless in the middle of a performance. So I wanted to correct a couple of things, fix the portability issue, and develop a way to generate the graphic score in real time. I did this by using PD's drawing capabilities. I had to compromise some of the features of the score as images in order to use a generative drawing score in PD. Ultimately, this resulted in a much more stable version of Auricle and is not limited to any one type of operating system on a computer.